Hey guys, it's Christine. Welcome to another video on my channel. If you're new, I am a homeschooling mama of three. My kids are 5, 4, and 2, and I share homeschool content here on my channel. So if that's something you're interested in, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button if you enjoy this video. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you what to do when your curriculum is just not working. I think if you haven't already had this happen to you, you're going to eventually. Not all homeschool curriculums work for every child. That's just reality. That's what happens. And you'll more than likely find yourself in a spot where you're finding that the curriculum's just not working. And you're like, what the heck do I do? We were there the beginning of this year with our language arts curriculum, and it wasn't working out for us at the time. I've done a video on that. I will share it here, and then I've got kind of a follow-up video that I'll share after that. But I just wanted to chat because I know that the homeschool year or the school year has started just a little while ago, and you've probably gotten into it now and your days are kind of got a bit of a routine to them. And this is when a lot of homeschool families find, this curriculum that I dreamed about and watched a million reviews of and could not wait to start with my child is not turning out to be what I had planned for it to be. And it sucks because a lot of the time we love these curriculums and we think, oh, this is just going to be perfect for my kid. And then it turns out it's not. And you're like, wah, wah, what do we do now? So first of all, you're not alone. This happens to lots of us. In fact, I would say it happens to all of us at one point or another. But what you really need to know is what to do about it. So the first thing that I'm going to say is get rid of any guilt you might have, because I think a lot of the time we tend to blame ourselves and think, I'm doing something terribly wrong. Especially if you're new at homeschooling, you're going to be like, I am useless at this. All the things that I thought about myself before I decided to homeschool are true. I suck. Okay. No, first of all, no, that's just not true. You're not perfect. None of us are. There is no such thing as a perfect homeschool mom, and we all start somewhere. So just because your days aren't perfect and things aren't working perfectly for you right now doesn't mean that it is your fault. So first of all, just get rid of the guilt, because that's just not helpful at all. And you just have to realize that our children are unique and they have unique learning needs, and not every curriculum is going to work for them. So there's that. The next thing that I'm going to suggest you do is talk to your child. Have a very open dialogue with them. Make them realize that they're not in trouble, that they're not doing anything wrong, and you just want some honest feedback about their school. And I remember talking to my son and saying to him, why do you not enjoy language arts? And he said, because it's so hard every day. And I was like, okay. So, when you get feedback from your children, that can really help pinpoint why certain things might not be working. And it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily discard the curriculum entirely then, because maybe you just need to tweak some things about it and use it in a different way. But it is so important to just keep that open conversation with your child, because this is their education. And we may choose what we think is going to work best for them. And maybe it will, but maybe you just need to tweak it a bit, or maybe it just isn't working at all. But I really strongly suggest that you sit down and talk to them, even your littlest ones. Chat with them. They want to be heard. They need to be heard, and it's important. So make time to sit down and just talk to them and be open and frank and honest with one another. Next up, do some research. This is the part that can be really time consuming, but it's super important. And honestly, we have so many resources available to us now as homeschooling parents. Far more than my mom ever had. Oh my goodness. I mean, she had catalogs and word of mouth, and that's it. We have YouTube and Google and Instagram and all the things to do our research with. But take your time and do some research. And oftentimes when we're reviewing a curriculum initially, when you're wanting to watch things, you want to see the positive stuff because you want to use it. So I'm going to encourage you now to try and find those reviews that might have more of a constructive criticism aspect to it, or a negative review, let's just say it that way, and see if other people are maybe having the same issues that you did, and see what they decided to do, because you might find an alternative curriculum that works better for you. And that's what I ended up doing. And that's what got us into using All About Reading. And that was like the perfect thing for us to turn to at the time. And so, yeah, I encourage you, use Facebook homeschool groups, like especially. I find those really helpful. I strongly suggest go out and do some research, see what could be a good alternative, what might better suit your child's learning needs. Then I'm going to suggest that you be flexible. You don't have to use the curriculum the way it's written down. And you've got to sometimes look outside the box to make a curriculum work for you. Like, oftentimes we think like open and go, it has to be all written out. But the more you homeschool, the more you realize that you can just adapt and make things work for your child. And I just want to encourage you to use the curriculum the way that works for your child. And as someone who likes to like check all the boxes and follow the rules, I found this really difficult at first. I'm not going to lie. It was hard to be like, we're not going to do that part today, or we'll leave that till later, or okay, let's not do it this way, let's do it that way. That was hard for me because I'm like, no, but the book says we have to do it this way, you know. It's okay. You don't have to. You are the teacher. And of course, there are some basic fundamentals that are important in a child's education, but a lot of the time you can make it work for your child. And that is the beauty of homeschooling. And honestly, it should be the way that every child is taught. Unfortunately, we just don't live in a world that allows for that, but you as the parent can do that. The example that I wrote, and this is all in a blog post, so if you want like to reread these points and go over it a bit more in depth, I will leave that linked in the description below for you. But I talk about in there about All About Reading and how some people talk about it being quite like a dry curriculum. And honestly, it can be if you just like go and do the basics. But if you look up the games that go with it and the reinforcement and the different suggestions from other homeschool moms who use it, it's really rich and beautiful and so engaging and fun. And so, yeah, make it work for your child. Use the curriculum to fit your family. The curriculum is not something that rules you and your homeschool. It should never be like that. I always think of it as well, like similar situations as I always had my babies on a routine and a schedule. But the schedule served our family, not the other way around. We didn't live life around the schedule. The schedule was to work for our family to make our family living easier and a better experience overall. The same should be true with your homeschooling and the curriculum that you use. So, yeah. Those are my tips. If you're in that place right now where you're struggling, let me know down below what your thoughts are at the moment, what you're struggling with, and I will try my best to respond and help out wherever I can. I know it's hard. It can be hard. I also have a homeschool group on Facebook that is small right now, but it is growing. So it's the way that it's going to get more interaction is there's more of you in it. So go ahead and join that. It's free, and I'll have it linked in the description below. But I hope you found this helpful. Any questions, leave them below. I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.